need a process so we can repatriate. Your planning department engaged in an unlawful process to destroy a part of that cemetery, and you guys should all think very much about this. This is the decline of our democracy, when you guys allow them to unlawfully desecrate a cemetery. How did it happen? Well, believe it or not, and all the people here from other religions, maybe they should know that, but the city's planning department got clearance from Alberta Culture to desecrate a cemetery. It's not possible in law, but that's how it happened. You know, you guys amended the Cemetery Act secretly in June. All of this was done to prevent Aboriginal people, a Métis like myself, from speaking. That's what happened. And all of you guys should be ashamed because you're part of that process. I'm a Métis psychologist, and you know, about 20 years ago I realized, I wrote 2 books on Aboriginal history because I realized the less Aboriginal people know about their history, the more crime, the more dysfunction, the more difficulty. The strongest and most stable people are the people who know their history. You guys are engaged in a process of cultural genocide, and you have to change that. You're a new council, and I'm really asking you guys to really think about how you include the Aboriginal people in the consultation process. You talk about inclusion, you talk about your respective history, but it doesn't apply to our history. I want to speak a little bit of who's down there. It's like, you know, one of the biggest fraud the planning department is perpetrating is this idea of a rectangle, the size of your city lot. Supposedly all 200 of our burials are in a city, a lot size. That's the fraud. And the truth is, this is Alberta's first Christian cemetery. And alongside it is a First Nation cemetery with burials. They were buried in traditions 3,000 years old. And you guys are just throwing it all away here. So you're disrespecting our history. You know, I want to say to you guys that, you know, the people down there, you know, we actually, there's little notes in the Hudson Bay. One fellow, Jack Ward, one of your employees, a relative of his. He was a fur trader, but he was here the first. He was one of the first people to see the Rocky Mountains, aside from the First Nations people. And there's another person, Michael Bullard, first went all the way to with David Thompson, first to see the ocean. You know, the reason you have really significant people is that the Hudson Bay Company, when a man got old, they retired at Fort Edmonton because it was sort of like a farm. So we have a really rich history, and you guys are unlawfully desecrating that cemetery over and over again. And the question I leave you with, is it possible for Alberta Culture to give clearance to desecrate your cemetery, or a Jewish cemetery? No, it's not. But they gave clearance to desecrate ours. That's what's called a hate crime. That's what it's called.
So my name is Duane Goodstriker. I'm a blood Indian from the Blackfoot Nation. I am a priest in our faith, our culture. And that gives me the rights that I've earned for sweat lodge, for pipe ceremony, for Sundance, for using the knife in Sundance. I have all of these rights. And I'm practicing my rights right now on that site down there. There's 3 sweat lodge frames. I had a sweat Saturday afternoon for all the kids that were killed in foster care within the city limits. That was the reason for that sweat this past Saturday. Sweat lodge number 12. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission process is coming here at the end of March regarding the residential schools and all of the effects it has had upon the Indigenous peoples. Now, For this site down there, we have a burial ground that is recognized, formally recognized, by the government of Alberta. I'm asking you here today to repatriate the 10 individuals who are mass graved at Beechmount Cemetery. We tried to get these individuals back for the 2005 opening of that park. It was hate crimed by the city of Edmonton at that time through David Snyder and using of federal funds to create a hate crime document. Now this is all on EPS. They have a file. They have a file, and the former chief failed to investigate. The current chief was RCMP, K Division. I sent him a letter. Now he's the chief here. Will he investigate? This is where we're going. For the TRC, there's going to be some public reckoning about this site. And we are not saying hate crime lightly. These are federal charges. That the process for the creation of this new bridge is really sickening. And what is currently happening on the Rossdale property is sickening. Because every time they expanded that building, they hit graves. We have the evidence. We went through the hearing process with Alberta Energy Utility Board. All that evidence is there. A week and a half ago, you guys were out there trying to peddle these pub houses that the company already gave us. So you guys better get your story straight. There's a long paper trail that is evident with all kinds of submissions to what has been going on down here. Now you are all fine, upstanding citizens of this city. Well, act like it regarding this site once and for all. What has been going down there is really, really immoral. Because these are your citizens. These are Edmonton's first peoples. Their children are in the ground down there that have been disturbed over and over again. So you're going to sit here and you're going to mull about this and do something? Well, next week, be prepared when federal charges are going to be laid and submitted to the United Nations on hate crimes, crimes against humanity. There is a process for the indigenous rights of the UN. You know that was passed finally last year. Has Edmonton adopted that? No. What has Edmonton done? You've got a phony organization called Metis that you fund, that you've wasted approximately $1.5 million on for the last 4 or 5 years. Where are you with your Aboriginal process and perspective of getting things done in the city here? With Metis, where are you? $1.5 million. And even now, the provincial government was reluctant on renewing that process. But you're still here. They're still here. And you're going to be held accountable. Because legally what you're doing down there, what you have done, is really, really reprehensible. We're supposed to be in a first world country. We're supposed to be following human rights and adhering to them, as our government has fought and won those rights for all of us. But you, in the city of Edmonton, who are you? You look at yourself in the mirror tonight, and you ask yourself, do you want somebody to mess with you while you're dead in the ground? Dig you up? Well, that's what's been happening down here. So, those 10 individuals that have been failed, blocked from returning from Beechmount, they were mass graved by the city of Edmonton and their power company when they were doing stuff down there. We want them returned to that site. There was a woman who's dead. In the hearings, she said she wanted to be buried on that site. Her ashes are still waiting to be buried on that site with her relatives. So you think this is over? It's just beginning because you're not acting. You're breaking laws. So with that, have a great afternoon. Continue what you're doing, but you have been, again, formally, publicly put on the record. That's a hate crime. And the process to develop that bridge is a hate crime. And this is not over.
Thank you.